Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's session. My name is Askia, and I am one of the event planners for the Redmond Reactor Space. Before we get started today, I've got a few things I'd like to go over. So, if you could take a moment and please read our code of conduct. And basically, what that is saying is that we seek to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. We definitely encourage engagement in the chat, but we ask that you please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional, and if possible, please try to stay on topic. We'll be sharing useful links throughout the chat, so please keep an eye out for that. And we want to let you know that this session is going to be recorded and will be available on demand in about 24 to 48 hours, and that can be found on the Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel. That brings us to today's session. It's scheduled to run approximately 60 minutes, and there'll definitely be time for questions throughout. So with that said, I'd like to hand it over to our speaker and let him have the floor.
Hello, everyone. Um, Thank you for the introduction, Askia, and nice to meet you, everyone. Good morning, good evening, and have a great day wherever you are and you're connecting to my session. I'm Konstantinos. Uh, as you can see, I'm a Microsoft MVP in Azure Technologies. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, really an IT professional for more than 20 years, loving Microsoft technologies. I've been engaged into NT, Windows NT, and I'm that type of old school professional. But things are moving on, okay? We cannot stay in the past. And there is something in our profession that says you got to evolve. I don't know if this is a curse or is something like a blessing, but we have to keep up and we have to enhance our knowledge. This is something that is happening across the whole IT industry, right? It's not only about me, this one. I believe every IT professional knows this. And things are getting even more challenging in this era of AI. And that's why I have chosen this session. Unfortunately, there is no PowerPoint today, or maybe it's better. The demonstration we're going to see, it's about Sematic Kernel and a groundbreaking product called Neon Postgre DB. You may have known PostgreSQL, right? But we have also Neon. Neon offers quite a flexibility, high availability, scalability at your fingertips, and I will show more on how you can access that. A little bit of a description of our solution. The solution is quite straightforward, right? But nevertheless, it is a helpful tool for everyone on one hand to implement, learn, and decide whether you know you may choose Sematic Kernel for your main tool for AI deployment, as well as Neon for your database operations, especially for storing embeddings, and that's why we have chosen this one. And on the other hand, whether you prefer to stay on traditional tools and be on the enterprise level. I'm somewhere in the middle. I like to use the best of both worlds while being creative. So I have this opportunity today. I'm so thankful for Reactor team to having me and have the opportunity to present this idea of mine. So this is an idea, right? The idea of having an email assistant. And it's an email assistant, while it can be personal through this interface of a web app, you have the capability to use others' interactions and, bring, fetch other drafts from interactions with the AI system to construct other emails. So without further ado, let's have a quick jump there to show you what's going on. I'm going to bring my workstation on the screen. I will try to make it as much as bigger as possible. And you can share your questions, of course, in the chat, and we will try to do our best to answer these questions. Let me make this a little bit bigger and zoom in. I hope that's a little bit better than previously. And let me show you what's going on here. So first of all, we are hosting it on Azure. So I'm going to connect to my portal within the workstation. It works a little bit better for me to have it everything on one place. So I'm going to use the workstation as our main interface here. I'm going to explain everything in a moment. I just want to show you the final result. So while we are explaining how this works, we will know what is on the front end, but why we choose to do this. So I'm going to browse here, and yeah, I need to fire up my backend or maybe restart it. Yeah. So a little bit of an explanation. This is an interface where you can ask our AI to generate draft emails for you. These emails are created on the fly, like draft emails. For example, I want to write a marketing promotion email to our marketing team, and the draft is stored in our Neon Postgres DB, PostgreSQL DB. And then you can, just by writing a keyword, you can bring up the previous draft and, continue working on it or generate another idea or whatever. So yeah, I hit the correct one. I just restarted the front end, but nevertheless. So security. Security is number one. Okay, this is a demo, and I will say this before we show anything here. This is not a production level environment, right? You may find a lot of loopholes, but I just have implemented a very basic step of security just to have access here. We have implemented PIN authentication, and that's a very easy thing for you to do in case you want to know, build a quick demo and just have a pin there for you to log in, in the URL. You don't want to bring all the whole MSAL authentication process. You just want something quick, but always secure. So what we are doing here, while I'm trying to remember the password, yes, let me show you what's happening. This is our workstation, of course. A little bit for the framework, we are using ASP.NET, Sematic Kernel for the backend, and we're using for the frontend the plain old white with React and TypeScript. Everything is Dockerized, so we're using Docker images for both the frontend and the backend, and we're utilizing Key Vault to implement this PIN authentication, but also store some of our secrets, right? This at least is one of the best practices that I'm following in all my demos. I believe it's important to follow a baseline type of security, and this is established just by me by following the vendors Microsoft best practices here. So what we're doing here, we have our front end. You just saw the middleware part that implements this type of um, PIN authentication request. So let's have a quick look on the services that exist on our application. So we have this email controller, of course, right? We have the email service, the embedding service, the OpenAI skill, and the Sematic Kernel service. So let's have a quick look in our project. This is the project. Nothing too fancy here. Observe this PG vector library. We need it, of course. We are using Azure Identity, security with Key Vault secrets, graph. We're utilizing a service principal to send out our emails. This is also something interesting. So immediately you have understood that we have various the moving parts in this very simple application. And this is the idea behind it. I didn't want to build something very fancy. I wanted something simple, but will show the power of integration and, of course, how AI is starting to take over minimal tasks to, very extended and quite complex tasks. This is a minimal task or something in the middle. Let's have a quick look in our program while I show you the Key Vault service and get the password because I don't remember it right now. So this is our program CS, right? We're utilizing Sematic Kernel dependency injection. The services are right here. We need to be careful with CORS. Many people have been into this trap. They forget cross-origin and they don't understand why nothing works. We need to be careful with cross-origin requests, implement it into the application, and make sure that also the service is utilizing it. If needed, you need to be aware about it and configure it in the service level as well. In our case, web app. We have our Swagger here, right? The local deployment, you saw that in the local host. Our Swagger is offering some information about the APIs. It's not an extended Swagger endpoint, but basic stuff are there. And then we're running the application. So let me show you the email service as well. So Graph, Graph API, right? What's the best way to send out emails by not using users, passwords, and having to manage this thing with your users and your passwords? It's not it's not the best practice. The best practice is utilize service principal, right? And assign the correct API permissions. We're going to see that also in our tenant. So we have our service principal. We're using the Graph client to send out the email because I forgot to tell you that we're getting the drafts from our ideas, but we can set it as well, right? It's not only a draft generation engine, it's a send out an email engine. So we got here our messages. You can see that the process is quite simple. Important details we can see, the service principal details, of course. The embedding service, I'm not using it because everything is on OpenAI skill. Here is our semantic kernel, right? Let's have a quick look. The public class of OpenAI skill, the semantic kernel service, generating the draft, the system prompt. The system prompt is very important, right? Because it's something that it is provided hard-coded. It's hard-coded. I cannot change it. I could offer the possibility or the capability to the final endpoint to change this on the fly somehow, but it will miss that essence of simplicity. We don't want to make things too complex for the final end user. So there it is, hard-coded. Draft a professional email with the following details. And then here comes the user message, right? Typical error control, and that's it. And the semantic kernel, where we're using our Azure OpenAI, our deployment, a GPT-4 deployment in our case. Very simple, very straightforward, right? So let me head over to Key Vault and let's have a quick look on our implementation. So I'm not afraid to show you something here. So this is our Key Vault. Let's see what we have stored here with the form of secrets. So we need the service principal client ID. This is used for the email sent. We need the tenant ID, as you saw. We need the OpenAI endpoint and the OpenAI key. And what else? We need also the OpenAI embedding deployment name to generate the embeddings. Graph client secret, the neon connection string, because we are storing, as we said, the drafts in the Neon database. The sender email, I wanted to store this variable uh, just for security reasons, and it is a good practice to hide your sender email, not have it hard coded in your code. So it's a secret stored into our key vault, and there are the valid pins. So let me find one of the valid pins, so I can finally show you the the final result that we're going to see. So if this is correct, we're going to see the front end. And while this is trying to load, yeah, this is the front end, right? Let's write the recipient email. Let's get the experience, right? I'm going to use my own email here. So I'm what I am. Let's say I'm the marketing head of marketing here, and I'm trying to, and I am my twin brother here, the person I'm speaking to you. I'm kidding, but yeah, let's make this scenario. Uh, the subject, create a campaign, create a new product campaign. So what I'm trying to do here, I want to generate a draft uh, for my head of marketing for a new product that we have designed, but I want to get his attention or hers attention or theirs attention. I want to get theirs attention. Uh, I want something that will, once they open it into their mailbox, they will say, "Wow, let's put some attention here, right? Let's see what this person has to say." So here is where I provide the context to our model. So let's say I want to generate, and of course we can add microphone here and all that nice stuff, but let's stay on the plain old machine experience. I want to generate an email for our head of AI, no, marketing, I'm sorry, for our head of marketing for a brand new bicycle campaign. Campaign. Let's put an end here. The bicycle. So here is the idea that the bicycle is innovative with um, with a very, oh no, let's not avoid very. Let's write a better prompt here, because actually we're having a prompt here, right? The bicycle is innovative with brand new technology, technology, especially on the suspension, right? So here is our our key differentiator over the competitors. We want a campaign that will make sense because our bicycle is innovative. Let's generate a draft. I want to generate an email for our head of marketing. So we're setting the stage here. It's the head of marketing for a brand new bicycle campaign. Clear enough, the message is very clear. But I'm setting another context here. The bicycle is innovative with brand new technology, especially on the suspension. So this is where we want to make things, you know, appear like an innovative thing. It's not just another bicycle from our factories, from our technologies. Let's see how Sematic Kernel will bring us the results from our endpoint. Now, I know that we have moved away from single AI interactions. We have the agents. We have the era of agents. Oh no, I know where is the problem. We don't have the endpoint. So let's go and quickly fix that. We need an OpenAI endpoint here, which I'm going to create for you. Don't worry, everything is under control. So let's go and create our OpenAI and see in action how this thing will work. So either we can change this one. We will change the key and the endpoint of this one. Yeah, we can do that. So let me connect to our portal and change my endpoint from the original application. Let's try once more, just for the case here. But I'm suspecting that this is a problem. Probably another endpoint into the application that got deleted or something like that. Yeah, this is the issue. So let me get the new endpoint, update our key vault, and see that in action. So our deployment here. Uh, let's get this one, right? Let's get this one. Unless we have breaking changes, where in that case, I'm sorry, but it will be very hard for me to implement the changes right now. So let's see our endpoints. Secrets, OpenAI endpoint. Let me see that for you. You know, we are learning at the same time. So this is correct. This is correct. Yeah, this is correct. Yes, the endpoint is correct. Let me see if the key is okay. Otherwise, we may update it as well. All right, let's see whether we have the correct key. So when you want to get the key, you can take it either from the deployment in Azure, or you can look into your playground and you can always look at the code, right? And here you have your key authentication and get your key. I think the key is also correct, so I'm not sure why it is problematic here. Let me have a quick look on an inspection, and I won't stay more on troubleshooting, don't worry. Failed to generate the draft, so I think somewhere else is the problem. The mail API. Okay, something on the backend, maybe. Let's give it a quick restart. And let's have a quick look in our environment variables to make sure that everything is okay. I believe we're good to go. Okay. Something there in the endpoint is a problem. I won't stay more on the troubleshooting. I'm sorry about it. Maybe we can figure that out later. Let's move on. What we have in the backend, and we are storing our data. Let me show you. I can still search for example, marketing in our drafts. So probably this wouldn't have any problem. Otherwise, something in the backend. I can search by using similarity in my Neo database and bring up results from my database. But the backend refuses to work. Okay. I'm sorry about it. It was working fine just yesterday. Let's see why. Give me a moment. That's strange. The image is correct. I can use another version and we will see. Let's see if we have any response from here. Okay, here is the Swagger. Let's test it. And you know, that's a good thing when you have the Swagger ready. You can just troubleshoot on the spot, and that's a very good thing. Now, it really surprises me because it was everything all right, checked yesterday and the other day, and I don't know. Let's see. In the meantime, we have requested um, a new image, another version of the image. So until this is restarting, let me show you the actual architecture. So what we have here, these are two Docker images, right? We have the backend in our ASP.NET, and these are the endpoints, the send mail, the generate and store embeddings, the search, which is searching for previous stored drafted mails, and the validate pin. The validate pin, it's just like a middleware for quick authentication. And this is Docker image. The same stands for frontend, which is a React application, right? React. Once we have authenticated ourselves, everything goes through the managed identity and key vault. So our backend is using the managed identity assigned to the backend, gets the secrets it requires from the key vault, and the secrets are secret for Microsoft Graph to send the email, secrets for Azure OpenAI to generate the draft and generate the embeddings, and store the embeddings. I'm sorry, and store the embeddings in the Neon Postgre DB. There is an internal server error here. Internal server error. I don't understand why this is a problem. Let me try something else here. You know, it happens and it is very frustrating when it's happening live. When you need it, then you have the problem. So the mail API, let's switch to the correct image. From the deployment center, you can just switch to your correct image and save. And in the meantime, let's see our Neon database. If you are a Microsoft MVP, you have the capability through this link to get into the team, get more into this promising project, which now has reached quite an enterprise level. Very innovative with the capability to have versioning on your databases. And it's an amazing project. I have not explored end to end all the capabilities. I'm in a very, very small portion of it, but I'm really enjoying what it has to offer. Now, let me connect to our user interface so you can see the actual experience of it. It's very easy, very understandable, and you can see all the integration options that are there, and more are coming quite often. So here it is. Once you get access, you will be able to generate uh, an organization. I created a personal account, but the team has informed me that they are moving away from the personal type of Neon accounts, and they are going to be merged. I haven't seen that yet, but that's the case. So this is the nice thing. You create the instance within your Azure subscription, and then you get your portal access directly from your subscription. So I'm using the same username, the same password, the same account basically. So yeah, and here it is. This is the Neon project. Now you can see here, you can have your personal account and you can create also your organization. The free capability, again, if you're an Azure MVP, you can pursue this interaction and you are going to get this access. Uh, let's see the integrations here. And now this is the magic that is this type of PostgreSQL DB offers. You can have branches. You can create a database branch with every pull request for production like preview deployments. Uh, and this is quite innovative, right? You know that. Uh, of course, you can integrate Vercel as well, add people and have different teams. View your billing here. Let's move to our personal account. I think this is the one. So we have our database here, our tables here. Let me show you also what we have saved. Scalability is also amazing. I think it's this one. I want to show you, yes, these are the tables. Let me see. No, maybe this one. I want to show you the stored. Yes, these are the stored previous interactions with our application. So you can see we have a tag and we can understand whether the email was left as a draft or was already sent. This is quite a smart implementation step. You have the input text, okay, the appendix, and this is using PG vector. This is, you know, easy as a pie. And instead of looking into your text when it does the search, for example, let's say you have 1,000 records here and you want to bring back a draft from another successful interaction or a campaign or a marketing thing or whatever. How are you going to search that with text? It may take, I don't know how much time, but using the embeddings format, it will be easier to bring up all the relevant drafts or emails sent and present it to you in the screen. Now, I'm really frustrated to tell you the truth that suddenly we lost this capability. Let me retry an execution here, but I'm suspecting I have to add my hand in the code. Something's wrong with the backend. Well, it shouldn't, while it shouldn't be something wrong in the backend, but anyway, allow me this refresh here and let me search for marketing. Yeah, something's wrong with the backend. I'm not sure what's the exact problem with the backend, but anyway, you see we're getting 500s, but yeah. So what I wanted to show you also, we cannot see the capability, but I think that's the minor thing. Let me show you a little bit of the Docker implementation. So the Docker is quite straightforward, right? Especially if you have done React before, this is just a very, very simple implementation. Uh, the only thing you need to pay attention is the engine's configuration. So be aware, you need to pay attention to this one. Also, the backend is this one. Yeah, maybe we have an issue with a certificate. That could be an issue here. Oh no, I have removed it. Yeah, we don't have a certificate here. So this is what we are doing. We are restoring the project. We are building and publishing it. And this is the entry point from our Sematic Kernel email assistant. Okay, very, very straightforward, nothing too complex or uh, too difficult to understand. So I'm going to close this one and have a quick overview of what we have done now. I'm going to switch to the architecture. So the project is available in GitHub. Any corrections that I will do if needed, they will be also posted in GitHub. The whole architecture. So we have a deployment of web apps in Azure, a backend that is written in ASP.NET, .NET ASP.NET, and it's using Sematic Kernel for the AI interactions, and that AI interaction is to communicate with our model in OpenAI and bring suggestions for draft emails, a front-end written in React that offers also a small capability of pin authentication. The backend is handling also this endpoint. And the final frontend, you just saw it, is this one. So you can write the recipient email, you can write the subject, write the description, and generate the draft. The draft generated is what we are expecting to get from Sematic Kernel and OpenAI. And if we like it, we can save it or send it or both. If we save it and don't send it, we have this tag stored in our database. It is stored like I have it in another window. It's following this method, or if it is not sent, it is a draft. If it is sent, it stores it with the send tag, and everything is stored in Neon Postgre serverless database. Returning here, the best practice has instructed us to use Key Vault, and I'm trying to use it, as I told you earlier, as much as possible. So three main elements are interacting with our backend: the Graph API to send our email, the OpenAI endpoint to generate the suggestion of the draft, and we're using pgvector to store the generated draft and the send email if sent with text and embeddings. When we are searching from the draft for similarity, it uses the embeddings. I think we're very right on time. I'm really sorry that we didn't have the capability to see it end to end working, but these things happen, and I'm sure that you can understand that. Uh, if we have any questions, I'm all yours. Again, I want to thank you for being here today. You will find me on GitHub as well. My handle is PASSADIS, and sorry, and I'm promising you that the corrected code will be up in no time. If there are any problems that I can solve right on time. Okay, this is my handle. You can find me on GitHub. It's preferable, but you know I'm also in LinkedIn. I'm calling from Athens, Greece. Nice to meet you, everyone. I think Askia, I'm completed right now. I'm done. I want to thank you for having me. I hope you see what I was trying to do. It's a pity didn't work and do it, but I'm okay. I'm happy that we're able to understand what's going on here.
All right. Thank you so much, Konstantinos. We really appreciate that. We will let you go. But with that said, we definitely appreciate everybody tuning in today. And we are always open for feedback and would love to hear what you have to say. If you have any comments or suggestions, feel free to use our survey link, which is on the screen. And to reference today's event, you'll want to use the event code, which is 24881. Once again, that is 24881. Big thanks to Constantino once again, and we will see you all on the next episode. Thanks and have a great day or evening.